Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Get to Know Her show. I'm your host, Monica Graves. I hope you're having a fabulous day. This is the last episode before we take a break for the holidays. So I hope you guys are all ready for the holidays. I still have a million things to do, but hey, that's what I do every year. And I adjusted my chair today. I'm feeling a little higher up. I think as the episodes go on, my chair is getting lower and lower. I'm very, very excited about our guest today. But before I introduce her, I wanted to show you this fabulous top I'm wearing from our wonderful sponsor Brenda Vidome. It's so cozy and comfy and beautiful and elegant. And this is what I love about Brenda. You can wear this over the holidays and look dressed up, but still feel really, really comfortable. So make sure you go to brendabidome.com, check out her website, and use the coupon code Get to Know Her to get 21% off of your order. And great news this week on our Three Little Wishes necklaces. So I'm wearing all glam jewels. Of course, you can go to glamjewels.com and see what we have in our showroom, and as well as our Three Little Wishes necklace. Thanks to all of you guys, we have exceeded our goal. We have now officially raised over $2,000 for Paul Robinson and his family. And Paul is the young dad we are helping with a cancerous brain tumor. I am so thankful. This is amazing. And the orders keep rolling in. So we're going to keep raising that money for him. And Three Little Wishes for Paul and his family are available all year. So you can continue to think about it for birthday gifts or anything else. But thank you for your support, and especially at this time of year. And lastly, I wanted to mention with Glam Jewels, we are pre-selling a brand new item for 2022, and that is a monthly subscription. So if you don't know all about that, there's a special sale going on our website right now. It expires on the 24th of December at midnight, so make sure you check that out. And now I am ready to introduce our awesome guest to you. I want you to meet Councillor Lisa Kearns. Lisa is our Ward 2 councillor here in sunny Burlington, Ontario. Lisa moved here to enjoy the quality of life unique to this great city and Ward 2, where she lives with her husband and her two young children. As a part of her commitment and desire to make a better Burlington, Lisa has created and assisted in the management of culture building events and organizations that work to improve the lives and strengthen the bonds of community. Lisa is experienced across healthcare, manufacturing, and advertising, bringing core skills across a variety of industry. As a caring corporate citizen, Lisa personally engages in volunteer events, environmental initiatives, and partnership opportunities, and places great value on working in a way that improves lives and drives value for so many people. As a graduate from Western University, Lisa holds an honors degree in political science, uplifted by a business stream curriculum. In her free time, Lisa enjoys spending time at the waterfront, experimenting with molecular gastronomy. I want to ask her about that, and traveling around Ontario. I met Lisa for the first time when she attended one of my events at the Glam Jewels studio. She is an avid supporter of small business, as well as someone who gives back to our most vulnerable. Lisa is a woman I've been so looking forward to chatting with, so let's not wait another minute. Lisa Kearns, everybody. Here she comes. Woo!
Hi, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you, Monica.
Oh, I'm so thrilled to have you. I think when you were here, Lisa, when we officially met, that must have been like 2017 or 18.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it feels like a lifetime ago.
I know, it's so crazy. Yeah, well, it's so great to see your face and to be able to chat. I love following you on Instagram. You are a huge inspiration. Yeah, you're really great on there, and I love how you connect with people. We're going to talk a lot about that because I think your social media is some of the best I've seen. Like, really, so it's amazing.
I think it's hilarious that you say that because I feel like a naturally social media adverse person. Like, I get very nervous around social media. So it's amazing that you say that.
Wow. Okay, we need to
Yeah,
dive into that. I can't wait to
yeah.
talk to you about that. Cool. Okay. Well, the first question I have for you is a question I ask all my guests. We're all dying to know. We have to start from the beginning. So we need to know, what did little Lisa want to be when she grew up?
So you've had me struggling and going back into the memory banks, but I think I
Yeah.
wanted to be a vet, is what I have strong recollections around. So we had lots of pets growing up, from bunny rabbits, hamsters, turtles, dogs, cats, you name it. And I always felt, we'd rescue birds, we'd rescue little mice and make them little habitats. So we were always with something in and around our family. Even at one point, we had a Rhode Island red hen in the backyard that used to peck away at our legs. So
Oh my
I
God.
feel like we've always had that connection to animals. And I
Mhm.
think as a kid, I wanted to be a vet. So I'm a bit squeamish, so that really wasn't a career path for me. So that's kind of what I think I thought I wanted to be.
Oh, that's so great. I love that. And do you have pets now at home with your kids? Have you got,
Yeah, we
yeah?
we actually have two dogs. So in
Okay.
in pandemic, we ended up getting a dog in April of 2020 from Burlington Animal Shelter, operated by the city. And her name is Otis, and she's an old Treeing Walker Coonhound. And then in the summer, we actually got a puppy, which is the same breed, and so her name is Milo. So we now have Milo and Otis. So in our small house, we've
Oh,
got two hound dogs.
hound dogs. Oh, that's amazing. That must be
Yeah,
so much fun.
it's a riot.
Oh, that's great. So, Lisa, how did you get into what you're doing today? What led you there? I mean, you went to Western, and what was it? Was it at university where you really started to explore, like, this is what I want to do, be in the face of my community and really make a difference? Or did that sort of come up before then?
Yeah, I think I might have always had a little bit of a bug. I remember running for student council in high school. And then in university, you start off taking kind of a bit of a few different courses. And the one that I gravitated to most was that politics kind of 101. And then as I continued with my studies and went into the different levels of politics, from foreign politics, Canadian politics, and political theory, I just found a natural gravitation to it, that I ended up doing my degree and my honors degree in it, but then always rounded that out with the stronger business classes like economics and just general business, and things to kind of have that more well-rounded approach, because policy and economics aren't always really tightly tied together. So I wanted to have that foundation, and then I went off into the job world, and it wasn't until things started changing around our community that I started to get involved again. And then for this last election that we had in 2018, I really put my name forward because I heard the community asking me to run over and over and over again, to the point where I really couldn't ignore them anymore, and
Yeah.
did it, and was ultimately successful. So that's my very short political path here.
Yeah.
And I've met lots of really amazing people along the way.
Yeah, that's so great. So let's talk about your social media. I'm intrigued by this apprehension that that you're saying to put yourself out there, because you are. I think what I love about it that sets you apart from other people is, I mean, in my mind, the way this city is run, it's all about informing the citizens of what's happening so that the citizens can make a choice for themselves. It's very open, like nothing feels held back. It's like, here it is. It's very empowering, that we get to make the decisions, and you and the mayor are there to guide us along the way. And that's really what your social media does. It's incredible what you're doing. Like, your show, every post is something different that you're putting out into the open, raising awareness, open up for questions.
Yeah,
It's
I think it's important to acknowledge that there's so much out there. So the way that I've approached social media has been, do you need to know this? If yes, why? And do you need to take action, yes or no? So I've always put those questions at the forefront of any post. I think just doing stories is different. Stories are more like an FYI. And I think about it corporately, almost like an email. If it's a to you, you should read it. And if it's a CC, it's up in the stories. So
Mhm.
if it's a two you, I hope, and I do see really high engagement rates, which I'm thankful for, because I know that the content is getting looked at, and that's why I try to be really careful with what I put out there, so that people know, oh, she's put something there, I should actually take a look at this. I just don't want to fill people up with more noise that's out there in social
Mhm.
media, which, you know, it serves a lot of different purposes. You can use social media in almost any way that you choose. It's an escape for some people, it's a livelihood for others. For me, it's just one other way to reach our constituency. So,
Mhm.
you know, I do live events, I do hybrid events, I do social media, I do newsletters, one-on-ones, you know, being out in the community and being approached like on the streets is another really great way. I see people at the
Yeah.
waterfront all the time that say, "Oh, hey, I meant to ask you about this." So I look at it as one more tool to connect with the community.
That's great. And I really love what you're saying about, you know, not inundating people. Like when you actually sit down to put a post together, there's a meaningful message behind it. And I think that's where a lot of, you know, entrepreneurs are getting lost, where it's like, we feel like we have to show people constantly, look what I'm doing now, look what I'm doing now. And I always relate it to someone knocking at your door trying to sell you something. Like if they kept knocking every 5 hours, you'd be like, get out of here. But if they showed you something really great, you know, once a week, then it's something worth paying attention to, right? So I
Yeah,
think that's a good tip for any entrepreneurs watching too, that
true,
you don't have
true. And I
to.
think the other tip is to know what you are and what you're not. So
Mm,
I'm a fiercely private person. So you won't ever see my kids on social media. You won't see me posting about something new we got at home or anything like that. And I'm also really highly sensitive to the entire community that we serve. So I'm always mindful that, you know, I might be posting glamorous pictures at a restaurant. Well, some people are facing food insecurity, or I could be posting some new jewelry, and, you know, still trying to be mindful around, we have folks in our community that can't make ends meet every month. So it really is something that I use to be accessible to everyone. I don't want anyone feeling isolated or feel bad about themselves. So I make sure that all my posts put a mindful lens around, you know, addictions, mental health, socioeconomic status, food security, all those types of things, so that when people are approaching my social media, they know that it's a welcoming place.
Oh, that's great. And they also know that they're welcome to come and talk to you when they see you, right? It just
Oh, for
opens
sure.
up that door. That's so great. And Lisa, that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today, was just your exactly what you're talking about. You're so inclusive, and you're so involved, and you really try, you know, in any way possible to give back and to encourage our community to rally around and help people in need. And I was hoping you could talk a little bit about the sock program that you had.
Oh,
That, yeah,
yeah.
I was really intrigued by that on your Instagram.
Yeah, thanks.
So,
So this was the fourth year running, and Socks for Hope is predominantly organized in Burlington by Burlington Taxi. So they drop off the boxes to different people who sign up to be collection folk, and
mhm.
then they bring those socks, which are the absolute least donated item to many, uh, like many people who are experiencing homelessness, and also as a way to show comfort for people going through a difficult time in life, whether it's something medical or otherwise. So they do distribute those socks to a number of different organizations. And I just thought, you know, how beautiful of a concept when, you know, we hear about the usual things, and I always love being kind of the, whenever there's a real need or like that kind of underdog coming in to step up to kind of save the day. I felt like socks really fit that category, right? So
Yeah.
they're not toys, they're not food, but think about how amazing it would be if you're experiencing homelessness to have a fresh warm pair of socks to, you know, get you through cold nights. So I just think that the work that they're doing is pretty amazing, and they've grown quite a lot in the last 4 years. It's small, but it's mighty, which I always love. And the people who are running it also have an absolute heart of gold. And even though Burlington Taxi has closed its doors, their philanthropy still carries on, which I think is an amazing part of their story here in Burlington. So those boxes just got collected, and they're going to be out to community members anytime now.
Oh, that's wonderful. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you know those stats, Lisa, and if you don't, that's okay. What is the homeless rate in Burlington? Do you know that offhand, or?
So we have beds or shelter for anyone who needs them. So
Mhm.
whenever we find an individual who's experiencing homelessness in our community, we
Mhm.
quickly reach out to the Halton Regional Police Services community member. Like it's a vulnerable persons mobilization arm of the police. And
Okay.
we really recognize that it's police services, and they're there to do a bit of a 360. So they'll either come out and do a wellness check, or they'll connect in very, very quickly with Halton Housing. And, we have that whole side of Halton region that's there to make sure that people are, either kept in their homes through their homelessness prevention fund, where if you're struggling with rent or you've had a bit of an upset in life's circumstances, they're there to help you kind of stay where you are
Mhm.
in the community that you live. Or if you are in need of emergency shelter, there is emergency shelter for anyone who needs it. So we also have to respect, though, that some people have made a life choice, and that they have the right to refuse services or assistance here in Halton. But
Right.
we don't necessarily have a homelessness rate per se, because we're able to very frequently house anyone who accepts assistance with housing or emergency shelter.
Okay. Fantastic. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Um, Small business. That's something I would love to chat with you about, because you are so supportive of small business. And I have to share with you, I came to Burlington in 1997, just from next door, from Oakville. And I couldn't believe it, Lisa, when I moved here. Like, I realized that's before your time, but it was
We're still
just,
alive.
you were alive, but you weren't doing what you're doing right now. But I'm telling you, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's sort of like this big attraction thing that, so moving here, the first thing that stood out to me was there was this incredible community of women all supporting each other. Like Joelle's prime example, I met her. I was just starting out. She wanted to support my business right away. I watched how she ran her business. She was like a real mentor to me at that time. And just seeing all these women on Brant Street with these businesses, and like, just that level, like, I had never experienced anything like that before, and it just seems to be continuing to grow. Now we have women like you, we have Mayor Marianne Mead Ward, we have all of these powerful women who are just lifting each other and raising each other and encouraging and having open discussions about things. And it's like in the water here or something. I don't know. It's such a different city than, there was nothing wrong with Oakville, but I felt a huge difference between the two when they're side by side.
Well, I
So,
think people often try to challenge Burlington on that small town charm piece, saying, no, it's a city, it's growing, you need more to be vibrant. I challenge that word vibrant. And I think there really is that tight knit sense of community, and there's players in the front and players in the back. So there are also a lot of businesses who are supporting, women led and small locally owned businesses in the background, whether they're, marketing folk or, website designers, design and packaging, et cetera, et cetera. We have invisible women-led businesses in our community where they might be, working out of somewhere else, but it's their business and you just don't see them necessarily behind the counter. So we actually have a compounded amount of folks who are living, working, and contributing to the, culture, the actual community culture of where we live on a daily basis. And by having people working close to where they live, that in fact helps to strengthen those bonds of community, because they really know single-handedly what their customers are looking for and what their community wants, right? I mean, I met you at your own place, and you
mhm.
had a night connecting women, and that's amazing, because those women are also other women that I support. Like She's Got Legs was there, and
Mhm.
it's amazing that real sense of webbed connection that we have now. I will say it's been challenging lately,
Yeah.
but there are certainly ways that, still keep that connection really tight. I'd say one of my nicest memories of, I think, this year. So 2021 was pretty much just as bad as 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So 2021, I think I went out with, because we could actually leave the house for 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And I went out with my co-op student. Her name is Lainey. She was amazing. And, you know, she probably could have had a much better experience. But again, we were technically in COVID, so we did a lot of remote working together. And we went out and handed out cards and a flower from View Florals to the women-led businesses in downtown. And we just popped into each one of them to say hello, brighten their day. Thank you for being a woman-led business here in our community. And all of them were just so uplifted and felt again that sense of community connection, because maybe, you know, I don't own a business, I'm a counselor, but my role is to make sure our businesses are thriving and strong. And I also do that through my role on the Burlington Downtown Business Association, where we hear everyone's concerns or comments and we help to strengthen the downtown community as a whole. And I thought that that was a really amazing experience, because it was, you know, I'm telling you about it now, but it's in that same vein of that quiet philanthropy, that quiet hand that's extended. So I'm sure you and Joelle, as an example, you know, you weren't out there shouting it from the rooftops, but there you were, strengthening the women-led business community right there. And I thought that that's a key characteristic that I see in Burlington that I don't know exists anywhere else. So you're right, it is in the water.
Okay, that's so good. And oh my gosh, I love that story. I have to say this, you know, I think being an entrepreneur as well, it can be lonely, right? You're, even when you have staff, you're trying to like move this ship, and everything's on you. We've all seen those posts where it's like, not only am I the creator, but I'm the shipper, and I'm the designer, and I'm the this, and then it's so funny because I was having an experience like this just last week. You go on these highs, and then things kind of level out, and then you can kind of plummet. And it's so important to have strong women around, like just somebody you can call or go out for a walk with, who can, you know, lift you up and remind you of your power again. Because we're all, like I was saying already, the entrepreneur is kind of lonely at the top. And it's not even at the top, it's just lonely because you're doing this thing yourself. And then you throw a pandemic into it. And there's some exciting stuff. Now we can do more online and people are responding, and that's great. But I think it's funny. It's almost like the further we get away from people, the more when we do see someone and we do have an experience, like even me for my talk shows, talking to you, I'm like, oh my God, this is the best. Like I'm going to have a high tonight, and then my husband's going to have to pick me up off the ground when I go, I can't believe it's over. But you know, it's that flower story is so wonderful, because I can imagine, I think I would have bawled my eyes out if that I'm sure there were tears. Yeah.
And some were really touched because they're not seeing the regulars, and that's their connection point, right? And I suppose being a counselor is a little bit like being an entrepreneur in a way, because we don't actually have a boss. Technically. So the mayor is not my boss, and the city manager is not my boss. The community, the constituents, the electorate is my boss. So similar to being an entrepreneur, you don't have one single person you're accountable to. You have a plethora of customers, or you have different, you know, business groups that you're accountable to if you're, you know, someone that's selling things that, you know, gets distributed. So in a way, I feel that same sense of loneliness. Like I feel pretty lonely. We haven't got to hang out with our council colleagues very often. We see them on Zoom. We can't have chats on the side because it's subject to FOI and all kinds of that. So you just see us on camera goes off, and that's the end of our chat together, outside of, you know, a few things here and there, or maybe a couple of emails that go around. But yeah, it can be lonely sometimes. And, you know, you're very busy. You don't know who likes you, who doesn't like you, especially in the pandemic. We have a lot of folks who are on very different levels with the pandemic. Some are just refusing to acknowledge it, and some are still absolutely in wherever they live and only going out for groceries and pharmacy. So we have an entire spectrum of folks that that are also feeling a different sense of connection to their community right now. So I kind of feel that and hear that. I think we're all really, really trying really, really hard to stay connected, but it's not in the way that we're wired to be connected. So we're trying to retrain ourselves to find connection. And like I said, going back to the beginning with the social media, that's just one piece. You know, I still have people in my community who don't have internet or don't have access to the internet. So they get mailings, or they've come to my walk around downtown and they'll physically come out. So there's all different ways to stay connected. And I think as an entrepreneur or as a counselor or an elected representative, I think we're all, or as a mother, as a mom, as a friend, as a teacher, I think everyone right now really is looking for new ways to find those connections, because we just need them. That's just how we're wired. We just need them. So especially in these heavy days, I think the heavier days are a little bit more frequent than the high days. So you can call me anytime, Monica. I can bring you back up. I'll lift you off the floor.
Thank you.
You know, and checking in on our friends is important too, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's so true. And it's amazing. It can sometimes, you know, when you see a friend and you go for a walk, it's like these little nuances, like maybe just the way she put her hair in a ponytail. It's like makes you feel so good. You know, it's not a big deal. It's like those little things where we miss that so much.
I almost feel like I need some sort of class that's called, you know, how to be a human again, or how to reintegrate yourself into society, because of the handful of people that I've might have, you know, gone for an appetizer and a drink with, I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And I feel like I'm on a terrible first date again or something like that, because we just keep talking and talking and talking because we haven't seen each other in 2 years, or we haven't had a chance to talk face to face. It's one thing to text or to be on a group chat, but you know, when you actually talk to your friends, it's a pretty amazing thing. So
that's so funny. I have a joke about that too, that I'm going to forget how to eat in public, that I'll have food dripping down, and you know. Oh gosh. Wow. So one thing the reason I wanted you on just before Christmas as well, Lisa, was to talk about, at the time, you know, I was like, I really want to talk about Christmas and all the great things we can do in Burlington now that things have opened up. And then as of last week, we're going in the other direction, but you do have some pretty awesome things that we can still participate in despite this. What wave is it now? Is it the fourth wave?
I think it's 4.
The 4,
we're on 4. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's officially been called the 4th wave, so don't quote me. It just feels a lot like the 4th wave. So people have often asked, you know, is there a silver lining to COVID? Which I've tried to answer as optimistically as possible, but I would prefer to be a realist sometimes. But one of the things I will say has been a good thing about COVID has been falling in love with our own neighborhoods. And that's exactly what we can do now. Even though we were all, I'm sure, looking forward to connect back in with family and friends and do a little bit of traveling and go and see those people that we haven't been able to see, we can still find great joy right within our own, you know, a stone's throw from our own doorsteps. So lots happening in Burlington that is COVID safe. We know that public health is saying the best thing to do is to stay outside if you're gathering, or outdoor gathering limits are at 25 right now, I believe, indoors at 10. But there's lots of great things to do in Burlington. It's so fun in the winter. It actually is. And if you just change your mindset and embrace a little more of like an après-ski / I'm going out into the cold. Many people say there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing. So get bundled up. Get outside. It's 3 quick things that are happening that are really exciting today, which is Tuesday, the 21st. The Rotary Pond opens back up again at Spencer Smith Park, and that is such a magical experience. If you don't have skates, you can borrow a pair of skates right there. Come down, do some skating. You don't need reservations as of right now. Have a look at the Festival of Lights. The lake is right there. I believe the little restaurant is opening up soon too, 3 Bills. It's operated in part by Spencer's on the Waterfront. And that is a perfect night. That's a magical night, in fact. When you're done that, you can walk through the downtown after you've gone through the Festival of Lights at Spencer Smith Park. You can walk through a beautifully illuminated downtown through the Bright Nights Festival, or it's not even a festival, it's just the way that we've brought some joy to the downtown. So in the last 2 years, we've brought new lights, we've wrapped trees, we've done the singing tree, a canopy, we've stretched that light extravaganza out through the downtown, up the promenade, into Village Square. City Hall is adorned with 7 trees and a beautiful peace sign that is all lit up. So it's really meant to spark that sense of wonder and give you a way to meet up or connect with folks outside, where you can probably distance a little bit easier and get some of that fresh air, and then pop into some of the local shops, see what they have, or get a little hot chocolate or drink and really enjoy your evening. In Ward 2 as well, I don't think a lot of people know this, but we've got a great little snow tobogganing hill at Central Park. It's on the northwest corner, so just in behind the community gardens. And so if you pack up your toboggan, you can go out and have a lot of fun, be a kid again, and have some fun over there. So there's also the Play Lending Library. This is my personal invitation. If you're out there and you're watching this and you're having the winter blues, send me a note on social media and I'll tell you some great fun things to do, and get some joy into your heart and make you feel like a kid again. So send me a note and I will personally curate some outside fun for you. So
oh, that's so nice, Lisa.
There's lots to do.
Yeah.
I'm very enthused about the winter. Before I was not a winter person. I did not like it. I hibernated. I got my books. I got my reading socks. I got my cocoa, and you wouldn't see me again until May. But I'm challenging myself to get out there for walks, enjoy the crisp air, and, find a new way to have fun in the winter.
Oh, that's so great. It's amazing sometimes how when we do have restrictions put on us, that's when our creativity is sparked, when we start to do things a little more, outside of what we would normally be doing. So we're all certainly learning a lot about ourselves. Now, there is one thing I want to learn about you because I have no idea what it is and I'm fascinated.
Oh, okay.
We need to talk about the molecular gastronomy fascination. Okay. Tell us, what is this?
So way back whenever somebody asked me to write a bio, I had no idea what to write. I was like, I don't know. So molecular gastronomy is when science meets food, and it's a way in which you can make things taste like 1,000 times what they are. So you could take strawberry and make a super, super concentrate and then put it in a mold and you would bite the strawberry that would taste like 1,000 strawberries. Or if you've ever seen those little spheres or cool cocktails that are infused or things like that, I would say it's kind of like a nouveau way of, when science meets food, and you'll see it at some restaurants now closed, but like El Bulli in Spain was one of the first. And so my husband and I have kind of made it a little bit of a thing to visit restaurants that kind of are cutting edge or just doing something a little bit different. And so that's where we kind of first learned about that. And each time we kind of had that experience, even eating something that looks like a Lego block for your dessert, or eating a walnut that's jellied, but it actually is not a walnut, it's jelly. Like, it's very weird stuff. And it's just kind of cool. And so we even did a couple of dinner parties with our friends where we all tried to get a little creative and do something out of our comfort zone. And so I should probably update that because not many people have asked me what it actually is. I think they just kind of glazed past it, which is good. But no, we really enjoyed eating, different and unique things from different places or prepared in a different way that's very non-traditional, but also have a huge heart for a good Irish feast. So I like all things, and we're so lucky to have as many downtown restaurants and restaurants in Burlington that are so amazing that we're in very good hands here, so we don't have to look outward anymore, and we don't really have to do a lot at home either.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing. The restaurants, I'm telling you, there's a place just on Fairview. It's called Just Jerk. I don't know if you know them. JUS and then Jerk. And I think they're fairly new, but sometimes on Wednesday evenings I'll work later. So I just dash over there and I get their curry chicken. And oh my God, it's so good. It's so home cooked, like the taste, So
I love it.
yeah, it's so nice when you can find those little gems and you're supporting, you know, a local family. And
Yeah,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
it's
For sure.
fantastic. Oh, this is great. So Lisa, have you got big plans for the holidays, or are you
Nope.
going to be? No.
No plans. Everything
Yeah.
is done.
Yeah.
Just a cozy time with the hounds. We don't
Yeah.
normally do anything too huge. So, you know, we'll maybe visit my sister if we can. We'll see how
Mhm.
everybody's doing, but that's about it. And we just have a little bit of family time, and it's just the kids are so thankful just to have our attention for kind of a handful of days in a
Yeah.
row that we really just kind of hunker down with them and give them all our attention, and that's what makes the holiday the best for us.
Oh, that's so fantastic. I did want to ask you if we have a little bit of time to talk about just you and your daughter, and the example that you're setting for her, because I think it's pretty awesome to have a mama like you as a young
Thanks.
girl. Yeah. Yeah. What are your conversations like with her? Does she have questions for you? Is she
Uh,
interested in your work?
she is. So she's a very, very special girl. She's very insightful, and she's very calm and very steady. She's a really, really special girl. We often get told you guys look exactly the same, and I was like, wow, that's nice of you. Thanks.
Yeah.
So if anyone out there sees us together, they'll quickly know she's mine.
Yeah.
But no, she's really sweet. So she doesn't know exactly what I do, but she's very proud of me. And they were so good during the election campaign, and they were I don't even know if they were even aware what it was. We kind of don't really involve them too much in our work, but they just know we have offices, and she knows I'm out there making Burlington better for everybody that lives there. And cute story, when they were in SK, they have to do like a little mini yearbook thing with a quote. And so her quote, of course, all the kids were asked, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? And so many kids, of course, were princess and teacher. And she was the, of course, only one that said, I want to be a counselor like my mommy. So
Oh,
my heart exploded. And then when it was dress up as a career day, she dressed up as me to go to school. And so she put on like
that's
a
adorable.
skirt, and she took like a little Barbie briefcase, a little plastic Barbie briefcase. And so she was on her way to be a counselor for the day. But the kids are lucky in what they get exposed to and what they get to see. And we have serious conversations with them as well about, you know, what's going on in the world. So they're very mindful. You know, they're very giving kids. They both donated, you know, I think about like 500 and something dollars to Joe Brandt. So my daughter was not having a great time with the impacts of COVID. So she's getting a little bit quiet, wanting to stay in her room. So she was making these little elastic bracelets, and she was some, and then donated the money to the COVID unit, Joe Brandt. So I thought that was really sweet.
Amazing.
And my son put his birthday money towards that. So together they had a little bit of a hustle going on, and donated all of that. So, you know, they're really mindful kids, but they're very aware that they get to see things that not everybody gets to see, with kind of running through the halls of City Hall, and, you know, coming up to my office is kind of a cool thing for them, but they're really great kids to be around. I think they're going to be pretty terrific.
Oh, Lisa, that's amazing. Okay, if that doesn't give everybody a warm, glowy feeling for Christmas, I don't know what will. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I so
And
appreciate you. You're amazing.
oh, I'm
Yeah.
this has been, you talk about uplifting you. This has uplifted me. This has been an absolute delight. Thank you so much for having
Oh,
me.
oh, you're so welcome, Lisa. Anytime. So
Okay.
great to chat with you. You enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to put you back in the virtual green room, and then I'll come back to you. But thank you. Thank you. That was so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. The amazing Lisa Kearns. Oh my gosh. And we have so much to do now over the holidays. So you better start planning. Is it going to be tobogganing first or ice skating? We'll see you back here after the holidays. I wish you and your family the most wonderful, safe, happy, healthy holiday season. Take good care of yourself and keep on showing the world your sparkle. We will see you back here in 2022. Bye for now.